What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some more news concerning Anthony Joshua. Joshua responds to Deontay Wilder losing to Joseph Parker, and this is what he had to say. He said, listen, despite all the shit that Wilder said and had to say, I could bury him right now, but I won't. I will take the high ground. He will get better, overcome, and let's do it. And in fact, adding to this, Kugan Cassius just interviewed Joshua 30 minutes ago. And he said, hey, I put the ink to paper. I signed to fight Wilder, and we can still do it if that's the fight that His Excellency wants. So there you go. So yeah, he had the choice to do whatever he wanted to do or say about Wilder. He decided to take the high ground. That's how it's done. I think that's more gangster. I think if you could have did something and then you decided not to, that's just showing your position on your power or your advantage at the time, and you chose not to, even though you had every right to and ability to. Okay, so Joshua fighting Wilder, though, the question would be, people would still want to see it, but then how much more now? Because Joseph Parker, a guy that Joshua already beat Wilder. So that fight is now, you have two former champions, both with 3 losses. Wilder back-to-back losses. Joshua's won 3 fights back-to-back. Now he looks and seems like he's on top. So we have to see where His Excellency or how the Saudi Arabians are going to do this. But one thing's for certain, that's exactly why you look after your own fight. Quit worried about this and worried about that. That's what happened to Joshua before, and I think he learned something years ago, fighting Ruiz and Miller and all these guys trying to chase Wilder, offering them deals, and Wilder was saying, oh no, them slave wages and this shit, and he's turning down $100 million, which he knew damn well he should have chose. So, those type of things happen, and not always, all the time you have the ability or the ability to get that or to make that right. You might not have that opportunity to make that right. So I think, if anything, AJ responding to Wilder like, hell, he'll get better. But I like how Joshua explained it. It was like, well, look at Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois, everybody was calling him a quitter. He redeemed himself. If you show resilience, which I think Deontay Wilder has, I think he needs to really focus on other things besides the right hand, because people see that shit coming. And especially people with decent defense can take you out if you keep focused, not lackadaisical, and you know how to avoid the right hand punch. I told you, it's going to be an amount of time for people to figure that Wilder shit out. That jab right hand. That shit, that shit's not always going to work for everybody on everybody, especially when you start fighting guys that are former champions, guys that are on the level or on a parallel or greater level than you. That's what you're going to run into. So back to Joshua. Joshua's like, look, I'll still fight him. I could bury him right now for all the shit he said about me, mentally weak and all this, and don't have a sense of identity, and he's not the same, and all this shit Wilder talked up, trying to talk up a fight that he may never get to now. Okay? If Joshua won't say it, I'll say it for Joshua. Wilder talked about a fight without focusing on the fight right in front of him. And that's what happens. History repeats itself. In this case, it repeats with a different fighter. See, Joshua was worried about Wilder until he got beat by Ruiz. Ruiz was a replacement for Jarrell Miller, because Jarrell Miller popped dirty as shit. So he fought Andy Ruiz and he lost. Wilder talked up AJ's name because he knew, hey, that's the fight I want. I don't think he wants to fight me. I think he's scared. I think this. I think that. I don't think his energy's not there and all this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the energy that wasn't there was for Wilder to knock out Joseph Parker because that's what we expect him to do, because that's what he almost always does. And he wasn't able to do it. See, at this point, you look back at inactivity for this whole damn year. It's the 23rd or the 24th, depending on where you're at, of December. This is the end of the year. So guess what? You had all fucking year to fight Andy Ruiz. You had all year to fight an opponent that gets you the ring rust off. You had all year for that. And then you go in there and fight someone like Joseph Parker. Then you talk up AJ's name. AJ handled his business. Now you're left in the breeze. So that's what we have to deal with. But AJ just showing class, just showing integrity, saying, "Hey, I could bury you right now," and that's really the bitters. That's the prize. Knowing what he could have done, but he didn't do it. You guys tell me what you think of AJ responding to Deontay Wilder, that he could have buried him with the things that he had to say, and he's willing to fight him because he already signed to fight him in March on the 9th. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!